Excuse me, did you mention on Beyond the Ink
Right.
that you were affiliated with 3As? And to be honest with you, I was bounced around. Oh, hey, look, it's an alarm. And so, well, that was shitty. He's not a bastard. I'm his father. You know, people are like, oh my god, are you guys edited?
Come here, Mr. Crab.
Oh, what the fuck?
He needs it. He wants it. What's that little hobbits, filthy hobbitses?
Beyond the Ink. Here we go. Hey guys and gals, welcome to another episode of Beyond the Ink. Today my guest is a really good friend of mine. Say hello to Mike. Mike, say hello to everyone.
Hello, hello.
First and foremost, I want to thank Jonatello from M&S and actually from Rogue 66. That was the actual music that you heard us playing. He developed the intro and the exit, and kind of like his tracks are amazing. Go check him out, Rogue 66. He's got stuff on YouTube. You can find him on M&S Tattoo. M&S right here. Money Never Sleeps. Follow the movement. Pass the torch. It's good stuff. So today, got some pretty cool stuff going on because you're one of the clients that had said, I only want one tattoo.
Right.
Just one.
That's how it goes.
That's it. Only one. And now we've got like 2 half sleeves going on. So you got half sleeve we're working on today is some trees and some fillers, and I'm gonna put a little creepy little girl. I kind of drew her out, a little freehand. I don't know if you can see that, but whatever. So we're gonna work on that, and we're gonna talk about all kinds of crazy shit. You know, it's got this other one here that we started. Oops, it is a raven with its beak tied up, and some mountains and a tree and
Some foliage.
some foliage. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. We'll get into all that, but without further ado, welcome to the episode, and let's take a trip. So, Mr. Cerruti.
Yep.
Got you back in the chair again.
I know.
This is how many times?
This is it's got to be 4 or 5 now.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been about 4 or 5 sessions of just
Torture.
and wanting to add on. And again, you know,
Yeah.
somebody who didn't want a tattoo or wanted one tattoo.
Right.
That was it. It was
Yeah.
like one tattoo. Cool. And then 4 sessions later,
The ideas get flowing.
the ideas were just there. They were like, cool. Let's rock and roll. You know.
Right.
So, give me a little background, buddy. Like, what do you do?
But not a lot actually.
Bullshit, dude. Okay, let's just not let this gentleman fool you, man. He restores old cars. I mean,
Do a lot of shit.
you do a lot of shit, dude. You're very modest for the amount of stuff that you do
But
or get into. You know?
yeah, no, I kind of keep to myself. But I've been in the automotive world for many years. Grew up with it, and I've always been into cars, and that's my profession. Work in an auto repair shop, and
Can we say who you work for? Or is that like legal?
yeah, we can.
There's 3 A's involved.
3 A's involved. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We won't get like too hardcore into the ethics and the HR details.
Yeah, HR is gonna call you up and say, "Excuse me, did you mention on Beyond the Ink
Right.
that you were affiliated with 3As?"
Right. The profanity.
The profanity, the all, in general fuckery. They were
The
like,
ball donut balls.
the ball, the ball donuts that's one hell of a story. We have to talk about that one too.
Yeah.
So you've been working for that company for how long?
They who should not be named.
Yeah.
It's actually been 10 years next year, so
Damn.
it's been a long haul. And then prior to that, I worked for my parents all through high school, and they owned and operated their own shop for many years. So
Oh, nice.
kind of picking up a lot of information and a lot
Still
of
in the family? The shop? or-
No, they closed up years ago.
Oh, okay.
Probably like I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. My dad had a kind of a messy divorce with my stepmom, and shit just kind of unraveled. But
Shit was just downhill from there.
yeah, yep. It's
That's-
never a good situation.
No, that sucks.
But yeah, so just kind of working, and yeah, I like the whole car thing, as you know, the gun stuff.
Yes,
Avid.
we're very avid 2A supporters of the
Right,
old Second
right.
Amendment and
Shooting and
Shooting.
gun collecting and all sorts of shenanigans.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Gun collection's really small.
Right.
Depends on who's asking.
Right.
Yeah. So, speaking of shooting and fun stuff, because living here in Arizona,
It's like the Wild West.
it is the Wild West. You can carry, open carry,
Yeah.
concealed carry. Like it's cool. I love it.
Did you ever notice that there's not a lot of, not that I'm like a gun-toting crazy man, but you ever notice there's not a lot of shootings here unless it's like police versus some
Yeah.
crazy dude? There's not a lot of like mass shootings.
Correct.
There's not a lot of like random violence like that. It's always like one guy versus the police.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
somebody who's just being a jackass and
Yeah.
cops shoot him and then they're like, oh my god, why'd you get shot? I don't know, because you're committing a fucking crime.
Right. Right.
How about you just don't commit crimes? That's probably a good thing. So, yeah, I totally get it out here. And a lot of people, they always disagree with me because I'm originally from California.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
So you get a lot of,
Yeah.
excuse my French, libtards who, will talk about, oh, it's the guns, and I actually got into it. I think I was telling you about this. I got into it with this one girl, like just a heated conversation about how guns are this and guns are that, blah 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 blah. And we're arguing. She's arguing with me about how being a gun owner is just not cool.
Right.
She's like, oh, it's so not cool. Aren't you aware of like all the deaths and everything that the guns create and blah blah blah? And I said, well,
Right.
kind of hold still for a minute, because guns aren't just for my protection or my family's protection. It's also for the bystander that's running for cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Duh.
Yeah.
You're a legal, responsible gun owner.
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna let tons of other people get shot. It's gonna be,
Some. Yeah.
if you choose to engage
Some
in
defense.
some some defensive tactical. I'm gonna twist your arm for just a second.
But yeah, I mean, some people are just I don't know. Some people are weirded out by guns, and some people don't care,
Yeah.
and it's all, I guess, kind of how you're raised and what your policies are and stuff. But
So you're always raised with guns? And
no, that's the weird thing though. Is like my dad had a couple of like revolvers. I remember as a kid. Like they weren't like laying around on the floor or anything, but
Yeah.
I knew he had them.
Yeah.
And we never went shooting. Maybe like one time.
oh wow.
He wasn't like big into it or modifying them, and but when I was a teenager, I remember buying some rifles when I was 18, and I could legally buy them, and I just took off from there. And I've always been into like taking shit apart and putting it back together and modifying and all that crap.
Yeah.
And
My brother was into that too, but it was more meth driven. So
yeah,
I'm kidding, but yeah.
well. But I remember buying like some like SKSs when they were like really dirt cheap back in the
In the
late
90s and
90s.
shit,
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, SKS, dude, you need an SKS. I'm
Right.
like, why?
You could go down to like Big Five and buy like a rifle from like
You could.
$300 or whatever. Speaking of that, did you hear about that giant gun sale they had out in Tempe? It was on the news.
I did not.
It was like the guy sold out like all his stuff just to
do it?
just to kind of cause a ruckus, I guess. But it
What?
was like really cheap.
Did not. How far I would have been there.
Yeah. It was
But allegedly.
right.
That's crazy. No, I did not hear about that. If
So
I had. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah, that's
Appreciate
a
that.
dollar late and a day short
Good
or
on
whatever.
good on the day late and dollar short.
Yeah,
Good looking out there, pal.
something like that. Right.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just always been something that I've
Fascinating.
enjoyed doing, and it's not like I'm a rebel. Like I don't do drugs. I've never been drunk. I don't
me.
fuck with anybody.
Yeah.
But it's like the fact that it's like if you have the ability to have it, and this is gonna sound like totally like hillbilly, like oh my guns, you know.
Damn again. Yeah.
But like if you have the ability to buy it and have it and enjoy it, and it's kind of like taboo,
Yeah.
it's like all the more like
All more reason to have it.
yeah, it's
Because you were
like
told no.
right,
So-
right. They're like, oh, we're frowning upon these rocket launchers, and you're like, well,
Yeah, but I really want.
I might go get one
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I may get a rocket launcher.
But and I like shooting. Shooting at like Ben Avery and target shooting and
Yeah.
stuff. And I got a lot of friends and coworkers that are into it. So
Ben Avery's cool though. Everybody says, "Oh, I hate Ben Avery." Da da da. They're so strict. I'm like, yeah. Are
they're.
they though?
It depends on who you get. I mean, there's a lot of like the line guys that are like the ex-military guys, and they're retired and they don't want to deal with anyone's bullshit. And I
yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah.
And then there's just a lot of weirdos there. But it's hot as hell there though.
Well,
Go in the summertime.
Yeah, if you go in the summertime and there's a ton of. I just take my Gatorade
Right.
or
Your peach schnapps and
yeah, yeah. He just going and
your
shooting drunk, plinking.
Right.
There was like, which one's your target? I don't know. Which one's your target?
The dude's like, not my truck that you just shot at.
Dude, you just shot my fucking truck.
But, I like to go out in the desert too and like hang like a steel plate and shoot it.
Yeah, hang a steel plate, or maybe some tannerite.
Some tannerite, yeah.
Yeah, so
That
you have a
was
funny
a-
story about some tannerite, if I do
I
recall.
do. That was a bad deal.
So let's inform some of the listeners about tannerite. Tannerite is a very
Yeah, it's a substance. I'm not really
Yeah.
gonna go into detail. I think it's like
it's
aluminum,
explosive
yeah.
stuff.
yeah,
Substance.
it's a couple of powders that you would mix together, and it's totally legal. They
Yeah.
sell it at sporting stores.
Yeah.
But you mix these two powders together, and you can shoot it, and it explodes. You have to shoot it with like a high velocity rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shooting some, as I've done before with some friends, and this time I was like out there alone. This is out in the desert,
Yeah.
where you could legally shoot,
You can. You can
It's
pull
all-
off the side of the road,
right out,
go plink around.
out in the middle of nowhere. And people go shooting out there, and unfortunately they litter and leave trash and
Yeah.
shit all over the desert, which is not cool.
Which is not cool indeed. Pick up your shit.
I know. But so I was shooting this tannerite, and there was this box out in the desert of like a flat screen box, because this was after like Black Friday, I think. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And so I put this tannerite, container on the box to shoot at it, and I shot it, and it exploded, and whoop-de-doo. And I'm like up at my truck, quite a ways away. I shot with like a 308,
Yeah.
and
That's a pretty nice round.
a few minutes goes by, and then I realize like the box is on fire, and which I had never been like so scared in my life, because this is out in the desert. There's like brush everywhere, and like the first thing I think is like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be on the news for like burning down half the desert,
Half of close to.
right? So I'm like running down there, like kicking dirt on it and trying to put it out, and running back to my truck and grabbing like the 2 ounces of fucking Mountain Dew I had on me to like dump on the fire. And
Drink it.
yeah, I got it out, and I took off like immediately.
Before any of the smoke started
Yeah.
to like billow up. And,
Right, I got the hell out of there. I made sure it was out, but
Yeah.
my heart was racing. I
Or
was
you just piss on it.
yeah, I wasn't thinking at the time, and I was under so much stress from the fire and the forest burning down, that not the forest but the desert.
With the desert.
I don't think I would have been able to like
Must-
perform,
Muster up some pee.
produce some
Fucking
urine.
stage fright, man. I couldn't
Right.
help myself. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. But
It's because you're so pretty. Oh wait, no, that's a different. that's a different.
I couldn't perform.
right.
What? Yeah.
That's a different
It's a
scenario.
whole different scenario
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
So what happened? You just kind of like did it?
Yeah, I just
Didn't catch
kinda,
much,
like,
huh?
It was a good chunk of cardboard that was burning, but I got to put it out. And so that tannerite shit is not supposed to be like a fireball. It's supposed to be like impact explosion. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't produce flame, but I guess the heat from it, caught the cardboard on fire, which, lesson learned. So,
Lesson learned. Always make sure you bring a fire extinguisher.
right,
Or you gotta piss.
right. Giant,
In general.
giant cup of Mountain Dew.
Giant, yeah. Go to Circle K or
Right.
what's that one?
7-Eleven?
Not 7-Eleven. What's the
Quick
other
Trip?
one? Yeah, Quick Trip. QT.
There you go.
The first time I heard someone say QT, I thought they were saying like,
You're like,
hey, do you want something cute from? And I didn't hear from.
right.
Do you want something from QT? I heard, do you want something QT?
And it was like
and
a
I thought-
40-year-old dude or something.
Why are you calling me cute? But it's Quick Trip. It's
Right.
QT. So yeah, pretty fucking funny. Anyway, so you have you're an avid shooter, as am I. We like to
Yeah.
shoot some stuff, you know.
Should we talk about how we met? How you hit
I
on
think so.
you
Yeah,
hit,
we
you hit on me in the bar that one night.
we like that one time.
No, I'm just kidding.
What? Yeah, everybody's like, Matt in a bar.
Right.
Dude, that's funny.
You complimented my slacks.
I was like, hey, nice slacks. These are this is what happens in the tattoo shop.
Right.
No, listen. So you came in to the shop of which I don't speak of anymore,
Right.
and you just wanted that one tattoo. You know, you were like, hey.
Yeah, it was something that I'd been thinking about for many, many years, and
Yeah.
I wanted to do it. And I have never had any tattoos other than what you have done, and you've done them in kind of a short. I've done a lot in a short amount of time. I
You
feel
have.
like
That's true. You
compared to
really
the,
have.
the normal person, I think.
Yeah.
And
But why be normal?
that's true.
You know.
But like you walk into a tattoo studio or you walk into a parlor or whatever you want to call it, and being not familiar with that profession and that, I don't want to say lifestyle because I don't think it's that. It's
Well, it is a lifestyle. There is definitely
you're not like familiar with the ambiance of that,
Yeah.
scene or whatever you want to call it.
ethics.
Yeah, and it's just like you pick up on all these little things that
Yeah.
you're like, maybe I'll try another place, or you get a bad vibe, or you're not
Yeah.
comfortable, or the artwork is not appealing when you look through someone's binder or whatever
Yeah,
the
their
case may be.
portfolio.
Yeah. And with you, it's just been like a very comfortable, like you've made a very comfortable type of thing.
Because I use hustle butter. It's
You're-
very comfortable.
Yeah, you're easy on the eyes.
It's easy on the eyes. It's my long flowing hair and boyish
Right.
good looks is what
Right.
what it is. No
But so yeah, that's been an easy
process.
to keep on coming back and continuing to get the artwork done.
Let me stab you for a couple
Right.
hours as
Yeah.
on some of the most tender spots, and you're just like, fuck.
I'm actually just super into you shaving me.
Yeah, I think that's what it does too. I'm good at shaving. So
Right.
yeah, despite what others may think. No, I'm kidding.
Right. But no, it's been a good experience, and
I'm always saying that, dude. You gotta vibe with your client, and your client has to vibe with you.
Right.
And I may not be the tattoo artist for everyone, but for my clientele that I do have, I gotta say it, I have the best clients in the world. And the fact that, I sit down and we talk and we go through like, what do you want? Like, I want
Right.
to know, what's your thought process? What were you doing?
right.
And I think that's crucial. I think that's very important. Again, I don't like the whole, let me shoot you down on your whole idea, do it my way, because it's my ego. No,
no, and there's no like judgment, there's no criticism,
Yeah.
there's no negativity, it's like, and you're asking me things while I'm thinking them, you're asking me like that same thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, this guy's like
dude,
knows
you're
his
my brain,
shit,
man. Fuck out of my head.
What are you doing in my head, bro? Right. And you go to places and they're like, yeah, come on, sit down, we'll do it right now, type
Yeah,
of thing.
dude,
And-
come on, $50 right now.
right. It's like
300 grand. Wait, what? Where am I?
that was a different shop that I went to.
whole different experience we don't talk about.
That was behind Walmart.
That was the, we don't talk about that.
But yeah, it's been a good thing.
Good ride.
Yeah.
Wait, huh? No.
But I put a lot of thought and idea into this, first one that you did, and
So what was your thought process on that?
it was something that I just was wanting to kind of. It's such a long story. It's something that I wanted to kind of like put into a tattoo, something permanent that if you look at it, you really wouldn't get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Looking at it from, someone else's perspective, like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess.
It's a raven with little bindings on the beak.
Yeah, but for me, it has a lot of meaning and a couple of different levels, and like the lacrimosa phase, or not phase, the phrase, I should say.
Yeah.
And the saying on it and everything, and
Where does that originate from?
it's Latin for weeping.
Latin for weeping.
Yeah, and it's also I don't want to say song. It's Mozart did I guess you could just call it a song. After that, it's really beautiful. I've always loved it. I listened to it all my life. And it's also a hymn, and it's also a part of Catholic Mass. So there's a lot of meanings to a lot of different people and a lot of different religions. And I'm not a religious person, but the terminology and the rough translation of it kind of hits home for me, so that's why it's on there. And
yeah.
you go through things in life and you try to put them into writing, or whether it's a tattoo or your own art or expression or whatever, and that's what a lot of that is about.
So is this like a painful time in your life? Is that the whole?
It's it was just a
learning time, like something you turned into.
It wasn't really learning. It was just a rough childhood that my brother and I went through. We had a blended family.
Yeah.
My dad, who married my stepmom. My mom took off when I was a little kid. I was like, 3 or 4 years old, and I never saw her again. And my stepmom was just not a good person, unfortunately, and just a lot of stuff went on. And when you're in a blended family, sometimes it's not all Brady Bunch type shit where you would think.
Oh, I know that.
And I mean, there's a lot of people that can relate. I can only imagine, but
yeah, I'm one of them.
right.
Yeah.
And so I went through a lot of shit with my brother, and
Is this your older brother or younger brother?
older brother. Yeah.
So do you only have one brother? Or is
I have. So my stepmom came with 2 kids, stepbrother and stepsister, and I haven't talked to them in years.
Gotcha.
And then it was me and my brother and my dad, so kind of like 3 and 3 made 6.
Yeah.
I talk to my brother all the time. He actually moved out to Alabama. He's been out there for years.
Nice.
Alabama.
Aren't you gonna go visit him recently? Or
Yeah, I'm actually going to go see him for Thanksgiving, so it's pretty
nice.
exciting. I haven't seen him in a few years, but talked to him quite a bit.
Alabama.
He's doing good. He's got a kid and got married out there, and he's doing great.
Very cool.
So, but yeah, the whole raven with the bindings, it was just a lot of
Having to, in essence,
you
hold
just
your tongue.
Yeah, without going into
keep your
great
mouth
detail.
shut.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're a kid growing up, your parents are the end all be all. Like that's the top of the chain. There's nothing outside of that, and
Other than cops.
Yeah, and if
Cops
you're
and firefighters. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, and if you're dealing with a problem and it's with your parents, like what are you gonna do?
Like, where do you go?
Right,
Yeah.
and you feel like you're stuck, and you feel like you can't say anything, and sometimes you're told not to say anything, and just a lot of different situations, and just shit like that. So
I've been there, dude.
when you're finally an adult and you're on your own and you're doing your own thing, and you look back at that and you're like, part of you, you're somewhat bitter, somewhat angry, and somewhat happy and relieved. It's like, wow, I got through that and I'm fucking doing great. The other part of you is like, No, fuck those people.
Yeah, I'm a little fucked up by that.
Right. Right. And
Yeah.
so, the tattooing for me was, I guess, I've always wanted to get a tattoo, but nothing has really, I hate to sound like a Debbie Downer, but nothing's really been that important in my life to get tattooed onto me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any kids, I was married for a long time and that fizzled out. And I don't have I just don't have any important shit to like tattoo on me,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for something like that, it was something that I could really kind of like turn into, the artwork and everything, and have you assist me in that. You did a great job.
Thanks.
And it was just kind of like a closure for me, because it's like it's done, it's dealt with. Like, it's a little bit of a reminder that people are shitty and not to get caught up in drama.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of meaning behind it for me personally, but
Yeah. I mean, it's overall, in general, a badass tattoo.
thanks.
I mean, I like it. I did. I didn't understand the meaning at first, but then when you started explaining to me, like, what it was about,
Yeah.
and I had the same thing, not gonna lie. My parents divorced when I was a year old, and I was told so many different stories about whose fault it was, and
Right.
and my stepmom was cool as hell. I love her to death. I mean, honestly, she's amazing. She's been there for me for like, God, so many different things and different times. My dad had we're really close now, but growing up it was very hard,
Yeah.
and so we didn't understand each other. I think that's what it was. And he's not someone that can communicate very well with you.
Right.
Like,
Right.
well, in the past, because now he's, like I say, he's a great guy. But before, you got like 3 seconds to pretty much tell your story. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I got, and if you stumble on it, he got so frustrated and pissed off that you always ended up like fighting.
Right. My dad was the same way. I mean, he worked mega hours. We saw him at night. He had a really good work ethic. I mean, he built a really successful business.
Mm-hmm.
And part of you, when you're a young kid and you're dealing with a stepmom or step sibling or whatever situation you have going on that's shitty, it's like you don't want to bother him in the short time that you have with him by causing more problems.
More drama. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it like, oh, I'm just gonna live with it because
I'm just gonna deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like, you don't see him long enough to really explain what is going on, and then sooner than later, it's like 2, 3, 4 years slide by,
Yeah.
and what is going on is like a staple in your life, and it took me a long time to, when you're young and like my mom took off, my stepmom was horrible, my dad, I explained the whole situation with my dad, he kind of burned me, and
Yeah.
my wife and I split up, and it makes you feel like, God, I'm a piece of garbage, like I'm trash, like nobody wants me,
I'm just throwing out left and right.
Yeah, and then it took me a long time to realize, like, when you feel like that, you're not garbage, it's just those people are all fucked up, or they're looking for something else, or they're just not in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to kind of realize it and to get to that point.
Oh, it does. It does. There's a lot of things I talk about, or a lot of the cool thing about when I'm tattooing is, we talk about everything. We
Right.
talk about everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And I love that, which is why again, Beyond the Ink. Here we go. Total side thing here.
Sidebar.
Yeah. I saw this meme, and it was about 9/11. They were just like, never forget, like on Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
everything was never forget, never forget, never forget, And then underneath it said, how quickly we forgot. And
Yeah.
all the cops being spit on and thrown out, and just like all kinds of stuff. So it was just pretty shitty for for people to see or to say how quickly you forgot,
Yeah.
about.
And that's especially with like the police thing. I mean, I mean, you can have one bad apple and it just
Oh, yeah.
ruins the whole bunch as in the eyes of just, citizens and just the general public.
Yeah.
And that sucks. But
I support police officers. I tattoo
fuck
a
yeah.
lot of them. It's a hard job.
oh yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, at one point in my life, I wanted to become a police officer until I had to go through background.
Yeah.
And they said, wow, like, your brothers are kind of assholes, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. But, in and out of prison and, again, all that good stuff that I won't get into because,
I can't imagine being a cop, being a police officer like that.
Oh, nowadays?
Oh yeah.
No.
I mean, you have to be. I take my hat off to those guys. Just dealing with every. I don't want to sound like a dick, but just dealing with every scumbag, fucking tweaker, like.
Oh, yeah.
For what? I mean, it's just. They do an incredible job. I mean,
I
I can't
agree.
even imagine.
I agree.
And you really got to put your life on the line. It's like you hear these horror stories where you just pull some meth head over and they shoot at you, and it's like.
Well, yeah. I always said, joining the police force, and being a cop is like joining one of the biggest gangs ever.
Right.
Because when you join a gang, you automatically have enemies. You automatically have people that want to kill you, want to do this. I mean, being a police officer, you've got like all kinds of people that are like, fuck you,
Right.
I want to get rid of you, I want to, but
Yeah.
but they still do it, and they do a fantastic job, and yeah, my hat's off to them too. Again, some of my clients, I have some of the best clients that they are cops. They're they're out there busting their ass, risking their lives for their loved ones, and
Oh, absolutely.
and I respect that. I think that's really cool. But
I think police and
sorry.
no. I think police and teachers should.
Oh, I agree.
There's so many things on the scale in life
Yeah.
that are just fucked, and
I agree, but and I do think. Don't get me started on the whole teachers thing. I have a lot of clientele that are teachers as well, and I think some of these teachers should be paid way more.
and some of them should be let go.
And some of them should be let go. Yeah. I mean, I had some teachers, but back then, again, I'm 43.
Right.
Back then, a teacher could whoop your ass
Right.
and they kick the shit out of you, and you're just like, okay, like it was that,
You're 43.
I'm 43, dude.
Damn,
That's
dude.
crazy. I know. I'm good for my age.
I don't know about that. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just teasing. Oh yeah, 43.
That's old.
My youngest is.
Just kidding.
It is no. My youngest is 18. Just turned 18. In boot camp. He's in
Nice.
the United States Navy.
You were telling me about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's freaking
I'm super
awesome.
proud of him. Actually, we're leaving next week, so or we're actually gonna leave very soon to come to see him graduate. So
Very cool.
let's fly out to Great Lakes, Illinois,
Nice.
and go see him. I haven't seen him for a while, so
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool just what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I miss that fucker. And I say it with all love, and
Right.
everybody knows me.
That little fucker.
You little
No.
turd, come here, you little bastard. No, and so I'm like, he's not a bastard. I'm his father. No, yeah,
Damn it, Bobby.
yeah. Damn it, Bobby. I sell propane and propane accessories.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But no, you should be proud. That's fucking awesome. That's
I'm extremely proud. Funny story though. He calls me, and the phones over there are, I don't know if you know, they're so hard to hear. Like,
Yeah.
the government can watch you taking a shit from the satellite way over here,
Right.
like.
But the
you can't get a
technology,
phone
yeah.
that sounds clear.
I got a flip phone or some
Yeah.
shit.
And so he's telling me, hey, I got selected for the 900th division, which is pretty much specialized for kids that have, done extracurricular activities during high school.
Nice.
And so, like, if you were on the dance team, if you were on the cheer team, if you played football, if you were in band, if you were doing stuff like that, you know. So they have you, you know, in the drum line, color guard, rifles, things like that.
Right.
So Evan, you know, he's done a lot of cool shit. And
Did he do like ROTC in high school?
no,
Oh.
no, he played football all 4 years. He even after football season, the girls were like, "Hey, Evan, do you want to join cheer?"
Right.
And just holding these girls up, you know. And Evan's like, "Absolutely, you know?
Right. I would.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who wouldn't want to
Who wouldn't want to
participate
do that? Yeah."
in those
And so,
shenanigans?
you know, he would sit there. He did so good. He was like, "Hey, Dad, I learned how to backflip." All right, right on, you know.
Yeah.
And so he calls me and he says, "Hey, Dad, I'm playing in the quads." And I said, "You're what?" He goes, "I'm playing the quads." And I said, "Okay. Sounds like you said you're going to play the quads, like you're playing drums. Evan, you don't play the drums." He
Right.
goes, "I know."
Nice.
And I asked him, I said, "Okay, well, why do you want to play the quads? You know, why
Right.
are you, what got you, I don't understand how this happened." And he said, "Well, they wanted me to do something else like the cadence, or they wanted me to do some singing stuff or whatever, whatnot." I just didn't want to do it. So they said they needed a drummer. They needed someone in the drum line to play the quads. And I said, "Okay, I'll do that."
Yeah.
And the guy, you know, the I guess his I don't know, what do you call him, training officer or whatever, you know, he was like, "Okay, do you play the drums?" And he says, "No, but I
Right.
could learn."
Yeah.
And so they liked that answer. They were like,
That's cool.
"That's
Yeah.
a good answer, good kid." you
Taking
know?
taking the initiative to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you know, and I've always told all my kids that continued education, man. If you can get and if you can get certified, or you can get, you know, just something to add to what makes you you,
Right.
you increase in value exponentially. Like, you can just keep learning and move up and do this and do that, you know. And I've always taught my kids that. Just never stop learning. Always just continue to learn. And Evan is just like that. He's always learning. He always wants to just to
Better
to
himself.
better himself. And he's very money motivated. So that's
Yeah.
a good thing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he was like, "Well, they're gonna pay me more."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, cool. Then make your money," you know?
There's nothing wrong with being money motivated.
I
mean,
agree. I think
Unfortunately, you know, you have to have money to survive, and you know that's how the world goes around. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome.
no, it was such a funny story to see him, and you could see him now. Like, they play for all the graduations
Yeah.
before their own,
Oh, that's cool.
and so, you know, I got to see him a couple weeks ago, and or last week, and it was cool. You know, see him in the uniform, and he's playing the quads, and he's
Yeah.
doing the little crossovers, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm very proud of you, man. That's so awesome." So,
Very cool.
yeah, and talking to him on the phone's cool too, because he's like, "Hey, Dad, how's it going?" You know, I write him some letters and everything,
Yeah.
and I don't like the computer. You know, I don't like to write on the computer. I think handwritten letters just go so much further with
Oh, absolutely.
how you know.
And you can look back on that too. I mean, you're gonna read an email in 20 years.
Yeah,
Or you got
exactly.
this handwritten letter from my dad.
Yeah, and so, you know, I tell him about everything. I told him about the podcast. I told him about
Yeah.
Beyond the Ink, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, that's really, really cool, and you know, good idea." So he'll probably see this episode,
That's awesome.
and as a parent, that's what I want my kids to remember me by.
Right.
I want my kids to remember me that, yes, I was hard. Yes, I was. At times, I was, you know, you fucking hated me. You probably thought, Dad's a dick, Dad's
But
this, Dad's
but
that.
it was with the best intentions. And
Absolutely.
That's what he knows that, you know. And
Yeah.
if he doesn't, he'll figure it out.
So proud of that. These are the good years, you know, of
Yeah.
like, this is what you do. You're here for your family. You're here for your kids. You're there for your grandkids. spoil the shit out of them, send them
Right.
home, or do whatever, you know? That's
Yeah.
historically what grandparents, you know, would do. I don't know
Yeah.
how were your grandparents?
They were good. You know, my grandparents, they were amazing people. They were from California. They lived in Modesto,
Oh, okay.
and I remember trips going over there. They had a giant house on a lot of land, and it was like a little kid's dream. You know, they had animals, and
Yeah.
my grandparents, you know, they were very loving and supportive, and they're passed away years ago, and they're just great people. And you know, my stepmom's grandparents, I had a little bit of a relationship with them too, and they were good people. And it was just a weird situation with them. My step grandmother actually moved in with us
Oh,
when
wow.
I was like in my teens, and my brother and I helped take care of her. She had Alzheimer's really bad, and they didn't want to put her in like a rest home or anything. She actually lived with us for many years, and believe it or not, I was actually homeschooled my last 3 years of high school.
Really?
Yeah, with my brother. He finished his schooling being homeschooled,
Oh, wow.
so we could kind of take care of her full time. She was not in good shape, and
Wasn't an easy job, huh?
yeah, and she was in a wheelchair and stuff, and so during that time, I guess like the silver lining is that enabled me to also work for my dad, being a young teenager, and that's kind of in the same field I'm in now, so that kind of opened that whole door.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it got to the point where you couldn't help her anymore. She needed like 24/7 care. She was on hospice, and she actually passed away in our house.
In your house?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
right after that, it was like there was, you know, we loved her. She was she was my stepmom's mom, but we consider her grandma. And
Yeah.
right after she had passed away, like my brother and I, we were done. Like my brother, like within a week, left, like moved out, moved away,
Oh, shit.
and then I left, and I had a little interaction with my stepmom after that, and then I just stopped talking to like that whole side of our family. And it's been 8 or 9 years since I've spoken to anybody. So it's just funny how shit works out, but I miss my grandparents on my dad's side. They were just great people, and I wish I had known them longer. They passed away when I was younger, and in fact, I was telling you about that old 1930 Model A that I bought.
Oh, yeah.
That black car I sent you a picture
Yeah.
of. That was my grandfather's car, and it kind of made its rounds through my family. You know, my aunt owned it, my uncle owned it, and he passed away, and it made its way to my dad, and my dad sold it, and I found it online and ended up buying it again, and it's nice to have that. You know, it's a car. I mean, it doesn't really serve any purpose because it's really old. You know, it's from the 30s, but
it's badass. Dude.
yeah, it's really cool. And I don't have anything from my childhood. I don't have anything from my grandparents. You know, my stepmom kind of threw everything away, and I barely have any photos of me when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
and so to have that like giant piece of family history, like a car, like and finding like the registration in my grandfather's name and the owner's manual that he wrote in, and
That's cool.
you know, his handwriting is in it, and that was just huge for me. And I really had no business buying like an old car like that, because like, I mean, it doesn't really serve any purpose. It goes,
Yeah.
you know, 40 miles an hour, and it's a pain in the ass to drive. And but I just wanted it. I wanted it back in my family in case I had kids. I can give it to my brother. You know, he can give it to his son. And at the same time, I kind of did it to like,
How's your back? Good?
yeah, but I kind of did it to like,
Piss off.
not a fuck you to like anybody, but just to say like, you know, hey, like, you know, this is mine now. You know, you've taken everything else. Like, this is mine. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Type situation, unfortunately. But it's I don't know. It's funny how shit works out like that, I guess. So you know what? Not to change subject.
Sure,
I
go
guess
for it.
to
Let's
change
change
to a lighter subject.
Yeah, let's do it.
Aside from rough childhood.
I know, right?
Do Did you ever get into watching Downton Abbey?
I have not actually. What is that?
It's I'm not really super into watching it. The girl that I'm dating is like big into it. It's interesting. It's definitely requires a certain
Je ne sais quoi.
yeah to appeal to it. It's
There's the right context for that. So
it's like a new age soap opera, but it's cool. It's like set way back in the day, and it's interesting to watch. It's a Channel 8 thing, so.
Okay. Have you watched that show Peaky Blinders?
I've seen a few episodes.
Have you?
I haven't really been following it in great length, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I kind of want to get into it, but I'm not sure if I want to get into it, if that makes sense. Because I get into, I don't watch a lot of TV because I'm always traveling or always here and there and everywhere.
Right.
But when I do watch TV,
porn.
I'm kind of like, it's porn. No. When I'm done, no. It's like, what to watch. And like I was saying earlier, before we started, I started watching Breaking Bad again.
Yeah.
Because they're coming out with that movie, the Breaking Bad movie.
Right.
That's supposed to talk about like what happened after, Jesse got away and he's driving out. He's all crazy as fuck. Let me borrow that real quick.
Oh.
So, it's. I'm so curious how they're gonna do that, how they're gonna play it off, or how they're gonna finish the story.
Did you ever watch The Killing?
The Killing.
It was on Amazon. I think they took it off, or not Amazon, Netflix, and now it's on Amazon.
I don't know. I'll check it out. Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a series. I think it's like 5 seasons, but it's really good. It's your typical like murder CSI. It's not as like corny and it's what's the terminology?
Shit.
It's well done. It's got good theatrics and music, and it's got a lot of little loops and twists and shit. So
Nice.
It's interesting to watch.
Speaking of music, if you really are enjoying the intro music and the other beats, give him a follow. That's my buddy John with Rogue 66. No, I'm not getting paid for any of this shit. It's just a really good friend of mine. Fantastic tattooer. He's really cool. Travels a lot, but this guy is like so multifaceted. Didn't mean to derail
No, yeah.
your story up, but this dude's really, really cool, and we've known each other for quite some time now. But he created the music that is now going to be the intro, outro, exit, whatever you want to call it, for Beyond the Ink. And he did it with such, it was so quickly done. And I said, hey, can you do this for me? Next thing you know, he's sending me over these beats and stuff, and I was like, oh, I love these. These are cool. Righteous.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Have you watched Mindhunter?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's on Netflix. Very cool. Creepy as all shit,
Yeah.
but very cool. I binge watched the hell out of that one too.
I watch a lot of movies. I watch The Office, I put that on for like background noise. And like The Killing and some other select few, but I don't really get into a lot of series.
Yeah. Background noise, I still prefer porn. I mean,
that's true.
You can't have a bad day if people are having the best day of their life. Living my best life. Are you now? No, I'm kidding. It's not. It's just one of those things.
Put a little porn in the background, make some dinner.
Yeah. Oh, what do you got going on today? How was your day? No, I'm kidding. No, it's not what goes on.
Are you a horror movie buff?
Horrors or horror?
Horrors.
Oh. No. Horrors. I actually, kind of, sort of, I don't mind a good old scare or two, or I think the suspense, those the videos. That's how old I am. Blockbuster Video.
Right.
No, I think the suspenseful ones, the true stories, those things, I think those are cool because those will freak you out. It's like straighten out. Those are potentially true, you know? So,
Yeah, I loved watching. You remember Dateline on NBC?
yes.
I used to watch that all the time. Those like real stories of
Yes.
murder, and you always had that guy with white hair. Not Tom Brokaw. There was another guy. He would always be like, "Well, they went on a skiing trip, or did they?"
Or did they?
In fact,
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
there's a SNL skit where, oh my God, not Fred Armisen. Oh God, who's that other guy? He was in Adventureland, and Bill Hader.
Oh, yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Hader dresses up like him and does this. It's hilarious.
He's funny.
Does this skit about him? I forget that guy's name.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Like the reality,
Yes.
you
So,
know, could be true type shit.
do you ever listen to like different podcasts and, you know,
I do every now and then. Obviously, I listen to Beyond the Ink.
to obviously Beyond the Ink, you know, share,
Right.
subscribe.
Right.
Follow.
But there's been a couple of them. I listened to. Oh God, I forget the name of it. I'm like drawing a blank here. A couple of them on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. We're on Spotify too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there's one called Up and Vanished.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. It's really, really good. It's a really good podcast. Up and Vanished, Tenderfoot TV. They go and find, you know, these cold cases. And it's really just this one guy, Payne Lindsay, who was just a regular student. And he was kind of like, well, I think I'm going to try to solve these cold cases. And
Right.
the dude really is solving cold cases. Like,
Nice.
he's just, like, there's one, Tara Grimstead? That one is a crazy case, and that's still going on. This case was cold for years and years and years. He comes around, they find the dude's dead dude, find out the whole town knew about it for like 10 plus years or whatever.
fuck.
It's insane, but it's a really entertaining podcast.
Yeah.
And then there's another one, it's a YouTube channel, but also a podcast where these guys go missing all the time. So it's like, this guy, Rusty something or other, he counts down how many people went missing and how many people, you know, in national parks.
Right.
So, and it's cool, but he has this voice. Number one.
Oh yeah.
He took a walk down outside his campground, only to be gone. Nobody saw him again. And it's always like the same. It's similar. I mean, again, really good podcast, but the guy's voice
Yeah.
is what does it. And I just really kind of like, oh, cool. I'm not talking shit. It's a cool voice.
Yeah.
But it's always like he walked away from the campsite and never heard back. And then it's like number 5 in the Grand Teton Mountains. Kind of like number 2, but number 1. You know, it's like it's the same shit. The guy
Right.
or girl or whatever was never seen again. It's shitty, but it's a good podcast.
Good channel. Yeah, that real like true story, real life, reality stuff, like Dateline. I mean, it's as shitty as those individual stories are. It's like it's well done, and you know, it's nice to see a little closure. And sometimes you don't get that, but
Correct.
what always amazed me was, you know, you watch where like there was some guy who murdered a lady, and they're interviewing the grandparents, and you've got like Ann Curry or Keith Morrison interviewing the people, and they're like, oh, you know, this guy killed our daughter and burned her, and she disappeared, and just horrific shit. But we forgive him. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Fuck that. Let me kill this motherfucker.
yeah, it's like maybe my own immaturity, but I was like, what the fuck? Like, fuck that guy. Like, I don't know.
So, yeah, man. I mean, I imagine you'll probably be one of my guests that will be back again. People are gonna say, "Hey, man, what happened to Mike Cerruti, man? I want to know. Like, what's going on with his life?
What's going on with his life?
What's going on with Mike Cerruti, man? I really want to know." I'm gonna say, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll have him back on another episode when we're tattooing something else," because he said he only wanted one. And
Right.
Here we are.
I still gotta have you do the little SpongeBob on my lower back. So, just kidding.
We could do that. That'd be, yeah.
I kid.
Jumping out of your butt crack. So
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
With the SpongeBob laugh, like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't either. That was more of a goat than a
Demonic SpongeBob
Yeah.
horns. It's like,
Yeah.
Come here, Mr. Crab.
Oh, what the fuck? Yeah.
holy shit. Holy
I
shit.
like doing certain voices, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I've always been told to do voices, and I don't like doing voices. But there's one voice that I'm very proud of, and everybody when I tattoo in Dallas, they like when I do it, and it's that voice from Gollum from Lord of the
Oh,
Rings.
Smeagol?
Yes.
Smeagol.
So you know he's like always like plotting and
My
Right.
precious.
Yeah.
He needs it. He wants it. This old little hobbits, filthy hobbits.
so the funny
Spot on, by the way.
the funny thing about that was I thought what if
Spot on.
Smeagol or Gollum was a fucking tattoo artist,
Right.
right?
Do we want the black and grays today? No fancy colors. Yeah, we don't like the colors. Who wants the colors? I don't want the colors.
You know, I
Right.
think that it would be funny because, you know, just yeah, it's Gollum. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was awesome.
You know, I would, not to sound perverted, but I would love to be like a fly on the wall when you brought that voice into the bedroom.
There's voices that my wife hates when I do, and I do it to be, you know, funny
Right.
because again, stand-up comedian, whatever.
You,
But you know you ever watch Big Mouth
Yeah.
on Netflix? So you know the hormone monster.
yeah.
Well, the creepy old hormone monster, the old guy.
Yeah. With the peg leg.
Yeah, with
or
the peg
whatever.
leg and the eyeball.
Yeah.
And so I could do that voice too. And my youngest, we were at Cane's, you know, the
chicken
Raising
place.
Cane's chicken place.
Raising Cane's.
Phenomenal. And we're in the line. You know, there's always teenagers in that. You know?
Right.
And so I was like,
You're the man of this king sauce. Yeah.
and so he's like, do the voice again. And I'm like,
Okay.
you know, and he goes, so the guy's like, it's an amazing day at Raising Cane's, you know, and I said,
Do you guys have the chickens?
and he was
Oh,
like,
Jesus.
what? And I said,
My sons love the chickens and you know it's a little bit of the sauce.
because you never understand that guy.
Right.
It even has subtitles. It's fucking hilarious.
That's
but,
awesome.
But to do those voices, like, yeah, it's
That's
not.
fucking hilarious.
It's kind of frowned upon in the bedroom, you know. I mean,
You want to? I can't even do it.
you're going down. You're like,
My precious.
you know, like
Right.
that's cool. So, anyway, it's been great.
What's
You guys, I'm gonna wrap it up on that one until
Yeah.
next time. So,
That's awesome.
give a like, a share, a thumbs up, comment down below. Let us know what you think. And again, if you're still here, share it. Talk to everybody about it. Thank you again, Rogue66, my boy Jonatello, and M&S. Also, Money Never Sleeps. Tune in next time. We're going to be here again, the 1st and the 15th of every month, and then eventually every Sunday. So, I'm Matt Valdez. Thank you again thanks for sitting.
Yeah,
And thanks
absolutely.
for watching Beyond the Ink. We'll see you guys next time.
Good night.